Well, happy Monday. Oh, what a day it's been for me. I'll get to that momentarily. While we are waiting on folks to join, coopedup.com is my website. You can check that out at any time. You can also sign up to get emails really sporadically from me. There, I definitely am not spamming you if you go there. I'm Cooped Up is my handle in all the social places. Would love a follow wherever you are, particularly if you're on the Instagrams. And wherever you watch or listen to this does air on Facebook Live, both on my personal profile and my Cooped Up page. It airs on YouTube Live and rebroadcast in audio format on all of the major podcasting platforms. So click the bell, subscribe button, whatever it's called, on that platform of your choice so that you do not miss a second of the fun. Hey, Mama, how you doing? Hope everyone is doing well. Whoa, what a Monday, what a Monday. And I'm still making notes about the random things. 4:30 snuck up on me today, I'm not going to lie. So was off all of last week, and today my inbox reminded me of that. It has just been a ball buster of a day. Let's just put it that way. Looked up and it was 4:30. Aaron saying someone got some sun. Yes, and I tried very hard not to. I even check this out. Can you see my tan line right there from wearing my watch while fishing? Yes. So fortunately I do not have. I was very careful not to get a sunglasses tan line. My sister's notorious for getting those where you have it where you look like you're wearing it's like reverse raccoon. I was very careful about that. Or probably I forgot my Supergoop unseen sunscreen, which is my favorite facial sunscreen. And you know what? Freeport, Texas, the Walmart there isn't really known for that sort of thing. Or Lake Jackson, actually, I think is the town that we were in shopping. And I'll talk about that momentarily also. But so I got some Neutrogena, something like that. Really, really heavy SPF. Did fine with it. Still got it in my eyes. That's the reason why I like the unseen sunscreen. Is that for some reason it just goes in. It doesn't migrate. It doesn't get in your eyes. I am notorious about getting sunscreen in my eyes. But we had a great time. Again, we went down to. It's kind of like the Freeport area. It's on one of the barrier islands. It's not the same island as Galveston. It's one to the west, and they are connected by a little bridge. And we were just on the other side of the bridge from Galveston Island. Surfside Beach is the only town that is on this island, and I think it technically is part of Freeport, Texas. And Lake Jackson is the town that has all the shopping and Walmart, Target. It literally had everything. Like, I was shocked at how much stuff Lake Jackson had for being the size it was. But we drove down there on Saturday, and we got back Saturday evening. So we spent a whole week down there. It's a one-lane RV park. It sticks out into the bay. So you walk out and you've got a canal, like a big, wide, like for boats and fishing and all that kind of stuff, literally like 20 feet from the door. Beautiful sunsets. It's immediately across the road from the beach. The only thing within like miles of it as well. So you can just walk over to the beach and it's not crowded. It was great. It was a little chilly. I think it was the same here in Dallas while I was gone too. We got a couple of cold fronts that came through, some thunderstorms that came. One night it was like crazy stormy, and I think it's the same night it was here. I don't know if we got the same storm or the remnants of it, or it was a different system, but it was the same night that Dallas had all of its craziness. But it's just so nice to relax. You know, it's not when we go RVing, especially like with my sister and them, it's not a big get up and go thing. It is a let's wake up whenever we wake up. Let's eat whatever we want to eat. Remarkably, I only gained 2 pounds, and I did not try at all to monitor what I had a Dr. Pepper or 2 every day. I ate sweets. I had M&Ms. Just somehow I did it. I guess active enough. But like we'd go, my brother-in-law Mike has a fishing boat, and so he brought it, and we went out fishing a couple of times. We saw, the coolest thing is that we were coming back from fishing, and at one point we got stuck on a sand barge, and I had to, a sandbar, is that right? Sandbar, I think, yes. And I had to use a stick to help push us off and they were running the engines. It's very gondola-like, very Venetian. But when we are going back to the RV, all of a sudden a dolphin or maybe a porpoise, whatever we have in the Gulf Coast of Texas, jumped straight out of the water. It was like in a movie. And then there's two joining it that were going next to it as it was and they just went right kind of around us and by us. It was super cool. And it was on the base side, which is pretty shallow, funny enough. So, oh yeah, Monica's reminding me, we had was it HEB? No, they were from Walmart, generic Thin Mints. So Walmart has, I'm telling you, this is the pro tip of all of it right here. If you are a Walmart shopper, they're a great value brand. They have a mint fudge cookie. I swear it is the Thin Mint dupe. It looks a little different. It's like a little more scalloped around the edges. Or was that the grasshoppers that we got, Monica, the more scalloped ones? Whatever it was. But they are the dupe. Like they taste exactly the same. You put them in the freezer, they're just as good. All kinds of generic Thin Mints from Walmart, the great value brand. And again, I think it was just called Fudge Mint Cookie or something. They don't have great names to their thing. So, but it was from Walmart, yes. But good stuff there. We ate really well. We did a low country boil. We did, and the whole package Monica's reporting in was less than $2 also. So a bargain at that. We had a low country boil, which is the shrimp and potatoes and corn and sausage. That was really great. One night we had fish tacos from the fish that were caught by our group. They were fantastic. What else do we have? I made chili. I was Frito pies is what we had one night. It's supposed to be our meal the first night. I'd pre-made all of the stuff that I was going to cook. Left it all in the fucking freezer here at the house. Luckily, I didn't leave it out like on the counter or anything, but no, it was in the freezer. Just forgot to take it out of the freezer. So had to, on the way there, we were already picking up groceries at Walmart. Another pro tip here is I pre-ordered the groceries like days in advance to be picked up on Saturday at the Lake Jackson Walmart, which was on the way. So we pulled up, unhooked the Jeep. I got in the Jeep, went to Walmart. Todd continued on his way. Claire was with me. Mason was with Todd. And picked up all the groceries. I had to run in for a couple of other things. All the fixins for chili Frito pies that I forgot at the house. And we had pulled pork, which was fantastic. Also with Mike made that pulled pork with not sauerkraut, coleslaw, and some other stuff. It was so good. Michelle said, I bet you didn't get the fish. I personally did not, but Mike and the kids and Monica and their son Sterling, basically everyone except for me did the fish gut. And I can't remember if Todd was there or not, but everybody else gutted the fish. I am remarkably not sportsman, hunt. No, hunt, that's not the right word either. I'm whatever the word is for people who hunt and fish and stuff. I don't do it very often. I don't enjoy hunting anymore, but as a kid, I went hunting. We had a deer lease down, a hunting lease down in South Texas. I've gutted a deer before, like no big deal. MBD. I've gutted fish before. I've caught fish before. I just choose not to anymore. And I actually did not even fish on this trip. I forgot to, or I didn't forget to. I just didn't want to fish. I didn't get a fishing license. Todd got one, and he did fish. But I just kind of hung out on the boat, talked to everybody. We had music going. We're eating and drinking, all that kind of stuff. So it was a good time. I went twice, I think. There were a few days because the weather with the seas were so turbulent and it was really cold. A couple of the days we couldn't do it. So Beth Tomek is just tuning in. Did I miss the announcement or Mason's going to school? No, I've not gotten to that yet. I am still just talking about the fishing trip or the camping trip, RV trip that we did down along the Gulf Coast. Mike is saying we had to cut the stomachs open to see what they were eating. Claire loved it. Claire is like a hardcore. She loves fishing. She loves all the things about that. She loved the gutting of it. She likes the crabbing. We did a lot of crabbing also. Just all of that. We went down. She loved poking so we were on the bay side, but you could walk like just a couple of minutes walk to the Gulf side, to the beach. man of wars everywhere. Like we were not going in that water. It was cold. The water wasn't that cold. It was just very turbulent. Every day it had a warning about like the rip currents and all that stuff. But you didn't want to go on the bay side or the Gulf side anyway, because there were so many Portuguese man of wars. I think that's what you call those purple ones. I mean, just probably hundreds of them as you're walking. Like, it was so much. So Michelle's getting me a subscription to Garden and Gun magazine. Yeah. I'm not saying I want to read about it a lot. I'm not saying I want to do it a lot, but when it comes down to it, it's something that I can do. I have done, and will probably continue to do. It's just sporadically things that 2019 Cooper would have never been saying about 2023 Cooper, but here we are. Lake Jackson. So Monica and I took one day and we went shopping. Our husbands went out on the boat with the kids, and she and I like to take a day and we just like to hang out. Like, so we're shopping, we're going to Target, we're going to the Walmarts, we're going to, what else did we go to? HEB, like all the things, right? Other random stores that they had there too. It's remarkably, like, this little town even has a mall. It's not a great mall, but it has a mall. But I'm in the Target and I'm like, this is a fucking nice Target. Why is this Target so nice? And we're in the HEB and I'm like, this HEB is so fancy. That Starbucks looks so nice. It looks brand new. The Wendy's, oh my God, that Wendy's is the nicest Wendy's I've ever seen in my life. And I've made it clear, Wendy's I'm no great fan of. I think Wendy's look dingy and dirty 2 hours after their grand opening. But then it hit me. I was like, oh, the reason everything looks nice and new is because it is nice and new. Because about 5 years ago, it all got wiped off the face of the earth. So all of these places were brand new, real shiny and new. So I was impressed with Lake Jackson in that sense. And going down, do a lot of you know people who went to the Houston Rodeo this year? I feel like every fucking Texan that I know went to the Houston Rodeo this year. I've only been a few times in my life. I think I saw Reba McEntire there. Is that where we saw her, or was that? I think it was. And I was in high school when that happened. And then I've been maybe one other time. I think we went like pre-COVID, like at the very end of the before times. But the traffic was so crazy. All through Houston, it was crazy. But especially once you got on that kind of southwest side where the Energy Stadium is and all of that, it was just bonkers there. It took us probably an hour and a half to get from the Woodlands through Houston to like Pearland, I think which is just south of Sugarland. I think, I don't know. I'm no great fan of Houston either, so I don't pretend to actually know where anything is. But it was crazy. So on the way back, I'm not a big interstate travel fan in general. If there's a way to get there on a state road instead of an interstate, sign me up. More often than not, it's about the same speed, maybe 30 minutes slower than taking the interstate, and which is on a 5 or 6 hour drive. That's a negligible difference. It's much less stressful. People are nicer. There's some stopping, but you get to look around, you get to see things, all that kind of stuff. And so on the way back, I traced a route where we could go up through, we sort of skirted the edge of Houston. We took that like far outer beltway around, and then we went up through Cypress, went up through past Brenham College Station, kept winding around through there. Barely any stops. I think there was only one town where we actually had to come to a full stop. The rest of them, it was just a slow down. Got to Waco and then headed north. We keep our RV in Mansfield, which is just south of like Six Flags and all of that. It's just south of Arlington. I don't know. And I say just south. It's actually probably still another 10 minutes south of I-20, but still, it is the worst. So Judy's backing me up on that. Yes. But it was a lovely drive back. So much more relaxing. Only took us about 30 minutes longer than we thought it was going to. And yeah, and same here, Judy. I will always take 281 back and forth to San Antonio if I can, because it's so much prettier. It doesn't take that much longer. It's more predictable. You're not going to get stuck in traffic because there isn't any, unless like Atlanta or something shut down. 45 or 35, It's been worked on forever, but yeah. Sometimes if I'm kind of in a hurry, I'll take 35 down to like Hillsboro and then cut over to 281 and go down. But most of the time I just take 67 to 281, which in our RV is perfect also because it's actually off of 287 and 67, 69, 67. I think that's it, 67. But anyway, and then while we were there, it was the anniversary. That's where we were last year for spring break. We redid this trip because my dad died while we were on this trip. And Monica and I didn't really get to enjoy it at all last year because we were dealing with all of that. Well, the anniversary obviously is going to be every spring break from now on. And so that was the 1-year anniversary of my dad's death. And it was, you know what? It was not as hard as I expected it to be. Saturday night, it kind of hit me. I was looking at some pictures and stuff, and you probably saw me posting some stuff or a picture of me and him. But for the most part, I think that we handled it pretty well. I think so. So the hardest, please tell me the year first is the hardest though. So anyway, but woke up this morning and allergies said, "Welcome back to Dallas, Cooper." I had to literally like unglue my eyes from each other. I felt like I'd been in a punching match. I'm sure I snored like a son of a bitch last night, and which I barely snore anymore now that I've lost 35 pounds. Well, 32 pounds. I'm gonna round up. I'm gonna say I gained about 3 pounds. I think it was like I weighed myself, and when I went, I was like at 296. I'm like 298 point something. So let's just round up for 3. I gained 3 which is not bad. All things considered, how much we drank and ate and all of that. But Claritin could not have kicked in fast enough this morning. Got to work and my inbox was waiting for me. Even though I was checking it while I was away, it was still waiting for me. Monica's saying about my weight loss. Nobody cares. I know. Which is why I say it, because I want to force y'all to care. But I need a vacation from my vacation. The kids are still on vacation. Our kids have a 2-week spring break. So they're just bumming around the house right now. I'm trying to kind of balance going into work a little bit and then kind of taking the rest of the day off. I forced them out of the house today just to go to Tom Thumb, and we went to McDonald's for lunch. But as you can see from my unsweetened iced tea here, try not to drink my calories unless it's wine. But I did that a little bit this week too. And one of the things, and I promised to get to the announcement about Mason's schooling, saving it for the end. One of the things, Carrie turned me on to this podcast. I don't ever get to listen to podcasts because my driving is so tight. Like I have a 6.5-year-old car and I have 42,000 miles on it. I don't go anywhere. And when I do get in the car, it's like a 10-minute drive at most. I'm allergic to traffic, although I'm going to have to get over that with the announcement that's going to come soon about the schools. But so I only get to listen to podcasts when we do like the RVing and stuff. Well, Carrie's been talking about this. I've Had It. I think that's what it's called. I've Had It podcast. It's these 2 women from Oklahoma. I don't know where in Oklahoma. I'm assuming Tulsa or Oklahoma City. Because is there anything else there? I'm not sure. Carrie is from Salisaw, Oklahoma, which is on the outskirts of, I don't know. But so I've Had It. I've Had It with, or I've Had It. I think is what it's called, podcast. It's these 2 women, and you would think from the premise of it that is like very negative, like because basically they're just saying I've had it with this, blah 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 blah. I've had it with this, blah blah blah, and they're just kind of going off on things. But it's actually a very positive podcast because they're kind of getting it off their chest, and it's so funny. And so we listened to about 4 episodes of that because I didn't remember until we were only about 2 hours out from where we needed to stop to put the RV away in Mansfield, that I was wanting to listen to that. We'd been listening to music before that. But it is so funny. It's these 2 women, and sometimes they have guests, sometimes they don't. They do these little special bonus episodes where people can call in and say, or they leave them a voice memo or something like that about the things that they've had it with. And I'm like, I love this. Like, this is, if I could have a podcast other than whatever you call this thing that I'm doing right now, that is what I would want to do, where it's kind of complainy, but it's also getting you to think about stuff. It's kind of funny. Like mine would be "You're Killing Me" or something like "You're Killing Me" podcast. You're killing me with this. So anyway, so listen. I've Had It podcast. If you and I know it's on Apple Podcasts. I don't know if it's on other platforms because I'm an Apple Music person. Gave up on Spotify when I realized I was already paying for it through Apple Music with our Apple TV and all of that kind of stuff. So, and then the last thing, drum roll. I don't know if can I do a drum roll? Let's see. Is there a drum roll? I think these are all. No, these are all jokey jokes. But and I couldn't even hear that. Could y'all hear that? So Friday at 4:00 was when all of the private schools in Dallas, at least, announced their acceptance or lack thereof or whatever. And you just sit there and you're waiting on the email to come in, and so nervous. And the reason I didn't come live on Fridays because one, we weren't sure what we were going to do. Two, I was a mess. I'm not going to lie. I cried. The first one came in and it was an acceptance. The first one was from Lake Hill, was an acceptance from Lake Hill saying you've been accepted, Mason. And I think that's the one he likes best. Mason, for whatever reason, will not tell anyone which of the programs he liked best. But got the acceptance from that. I immediately just bust into tears because I am a big relief crier. Like when I'm stressed out and there's suddenly a release of relief, like it comes out of my eyes. That's where it comes out. When we had our adoption stuff and we were in the clear with all of that, we've had some legal stuff happen, crying in the courtroom, all kinds of stuff like that. So we got that one. So we got into Lake Hill. And then a couple minutes later, we're like, refresh, because there's three we're waiting on. We're waiting Lake Hill, Parish, and Green Hill. And so refresh, get a notification from Parish that the decision is in the portal. So it's not on the email. So they send you an email letting you know that it's in the portal. So you have to log on to the portal. You go log on to the portal. And I'm refreshing that too, by the way, this whole time. And it's like, you've been accepted to Parish. So now we got 2 for 2 at this point. Like, okay, we're good. And we were happy with any of these three, by the way, very happy with any of these three. And they're just different sizes, different things about them. And then we wait. And Green Hill was supposed to send us at 4:00 also. 4:20 comes around, nothing. 4:30 comes around, nothing. I text some people and they're like, oh, we got our decision. And I know St. Mark's had announced theirs because friends of mine whose sons applied to St. Mark's got notified whether they got in or not. And it happened both ways. And so finally we get an email from Green Hill, and we did not get into Green Hill. But Green Hill is second only to St. Mark's in the DFW area in terms of the rankings for schools. And so it's very competitive. There's like 20 or 30 applicants for each open spot. And so it's kind of, it's a tight race for that one. And so that was kind of our stretch thing. We didn't get in. We didn't even get waitlisted. We just got told, sorry, we're not the school for you, something like that. They do it a very nice way. It is they are very, very kind in their brutality of letting you down. It is, super, I'm sure that letter has been written 1,000 times and changed. Like every adjective has been vetted, every consonant, everything has been vetted. So anyway, long story short, so ultimately Mason got into Lake Hill. He got into, which is a smaller school. It is probably, I think it's about 40 kids in his grade if he were to go there. It's not religious. It's not affiliated with anything like that. It has a full sports program. It has lots of like theater and art and extracurriculars. Not as many as one of the big, like Parish is a really big one. Parish Episcopal is, I think it's like 150 kids in his grade. P.S. Mason currently has 2 kids in his grade. Claire has 4 kids in her grade. So going from that to like 150, I can only imagine that that's a culture shock. But Parish has every possible thing. If you want to build a robot that can drive on Mars, they got a club for it. They got every possible sport. If you want to play pickleball, you can play pickleball. If you want to, I actually don't know if that's true, but I assume it is. They've got track and also, and Lake Hill has all the sports that Mason's interested in. And then he also got admitted into, on the DISD public school side, got admitted to Hillcrest International Baccalaureate Program and got waitlisted for the Woodrow Wilson International IB program, which are basically big old like Greece-style high schools. A small program within them, though, where we have a little bit of things. So anyway, so those are the three that we got into. We have chosen Lake Hill. So there's the answer right there. It's closer, and that's not the main thing. So ultimately, it came down to Parish. So it came down to Lake Hill and Parish. Parish is just a lot bigger. They wear uniforms still. Mason was really, really not wanting to wear uniforms anymore. And probably the clincher for Mason is that Parish has mass every single day. And I think it's like 35, 40 minutes a day. So 2.5 hours, 3 hours a week, you are in church. And he was not really wanting that. So Lake Hill won. Yeah, and we're very, very, very happy with it. It's not settling. It actually was the first one Mason visited. It's the one that I think he liked the best. It feels very much like our school in probably about 20 years. Our school's only 25 years old. They're 50 years old, Lake Hill is. So we're happy with it. Also, once Mason starts driving, you can get there by just staying on city streets. It's not close. I mean, it's like 25 minutes in the car. So I'm going to have to get over my allergy to traffic. You can get there via highway, but you really just kind of 2 exits and then get off, and then you have to kind of wander through. It's over in Lakewood, over by White Rock Lake. Monica's saying, is there not a bus route for him? I don't know anything about bus routes in terms of DART, but for private schools, they don't have. Some of the big private schools have buses that pick up in certain areas, but most of them are in far southern Dallas, and we live too close to downtown for that. So anyway, but we're very, very happy with the decision. I've actually not officially registered him yet, but mentally we are all there. I just have to do it by, I think, this Friday. So I plan to do it probably this evening. And then what else? Tomorrow's Eric Johnson's birthday, by the way. If you are a longtime watcher, fan, it doesn't seem like he's watching at the moment. He's normally a prolific commenter as well. But tomorrow is Eric's birthday. Yay! We're currently the same age. Tomorrow he'll be a year older than me. We're about 6 months apart. But yeah, so we're going to dinner tomorrow night for Eric's birthday. So very happy about that too. So it's going to be a good week. Try not to kill myself too much. Like I said, trying to cram in all last week's stuff and this week's stuff into an abbreviated week. But we'll see. So, alrighty, let me look at the comments. Oh, Eric, there you are. I just got on. I had tutoring after school. I was already wishing you an early happy birthday, Eric. So good. Anyway, let me look real quick on the comments. I also didn't post very much while I was away either. Pictures and such. Took a bunch of pictures. I just need to put them in a post. I don't know why. I just went on social media very much while we were gone, which I guess that's a sign of a good trip, right? So, Artie, well, with that, I'm going to say bye. I love you. It's important to know you were loved. I love that you watched this. Thank you so much. And I always do miss you when I am not able to come live, especially if it's been like a week long, over a week, actually, of not coming live. So I will see you tomorrow. I should be here tomorrow. I don't see any reason why I wouldn't be. And take care of yourself. No good comes from should, so don't should yourself to death. You're doing exactly what you need to be doing right now. Well, watching me, of course. But I will see you tomorrow at 4:30 for another episode of Cooped Up Live, should I say. Talk to you later. Bye. I got to get used to where I got to turn this off now. Okay, there it is. Bye.